welcome to a new episode of MjrCarnyx Loot Reviews. Have a look at this. Today we're discussing some buttons which I bought, and yeah, it's pretty awesome if you ask me. So let's start with this first button. Look at this. That is actually, as far as I could find, a Dutch World War II Air Force tunic button. Have a look at this beauty. It's in very good condition and it's from Waterbury's. So I looked it up at their site. They're still selling it. So it's not easy for me to find out if this is wartime or if this is a reproduction. Seems to be that it's a little bit older, but yeah, I don't know for any of these buttons if they are a wartime or reproductions. That's a shame, unfortunately, but okay. Look at that. That's a smaller one, but with this with the same image of a lion holding a sword and arrows. Then have a look at this second button. It's a CWAC and it stands for Canadian Women's Army Corps. Look at this. That is fantastic. I didn't even know they had one, so this is very cool. Look at the inscription, United Car Canada. That is very cool. Look at that beauty. That's a very special button indeed. Alright, let's carry on to this next one, which is a British General Service button, and it has some markings on the back. It says H all day, Birmingham, and yeah, that's from the Brits, from the British Empire. Next one is this very cool button, Australian Military Forces. Look at that. That is very cool. It says PJ King Pty Limited, and here it says something else, but I cannot read it. Really awesome. It's from the Australian military from the Second and the First World War. So I don't know on the date on that one, but it could be even World War I. Then the next one is this German pebble button, but I highly doubt this is an original one, because I put it next to the ones I own, and they are a bit different, but could be the material. Look at that. It's stamped with an M, but I also couldn't find that maker's mark, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a cool button nonetheless, so at least for informational purposes it's very cool. Alright, and the next one is this small Canadian button. Look at that Canadian World War II button. Oh, it's so very small, but it's awesome. Look at that. It's also a wartime button from the Canadians. Really cool. Next one is absolutely my favorite. You guys don't know this yet, but I'm absolutely ecstatic on Kriegsmarine buttons. This is my first one, and I don't even know if it's in reproduction, but if it is, it's a very good condition, so I think it's an original. And it says Overhof and C 21mm, and then here it says OC. I don't know what this marking means, but it's in a gorgeous condition. Look at that. It's really awesome, and I love it. Last but not least, what we got here is a set of Dutch World War II buttons, and they are all a little bit different. This one is made in Gaunt in London. It might even be post-war, that one. This one is makerless, which could be wartime, because they still used it after the war, and Gaunt London was is the manufacturer after the war. Look at this. This one comes from Horst in Limburg, and it's made by Paray, which is a wartime button maker. Look at that beauty. Whew. Then we have a smaller one. Very nice. Even markings on it again, Gaunt London. And then we have this very small button, which is makerless. So they might, actually they are wartime images. I don't know if they were made in the war or just after the war. It's very annoying, so I think the horse parade will be during the war. I think the Australian forces will be during the war. And the CWAC was definitely during the war. But it's very difficult to date a button and to date reproductions. Now we go over to the prices. We go over to our general part of the video. And for that we have to zoom out a little bit. Look at that. So this was all in one purchase. Can you imagine? For €5. So these are all Dutch wartime buttons. Also this line. These two are English sailor buttons, but post-war. These are again the two from the Royal Dutch Air Force buttons. All these buttons are from the Dutch Navy post-war. This is a merchant button from the English ones again. Also with the Gaunt London, and they only used the Gaunt London after the war in the 1950s and 1960s. So that's one thing. We got these Soviet buttons, which they are even dated in the 60s, so that's pretty cool. We got some French military button. We actually got this one. A few of them which I absolutely don't have a clue. It seems to be artillery, but I don't know from which country or from which era. But they are great, I love those buttons. And then we have some buttons here on which I really don't know what they are. This is actually, it looks like a Kriegsmarine button, but it isn't. It says RJ Gaunt and Son, Limited, London, England. They were made from, these insignias were made from 18 something till 1979, something like that. So it could be a long time in which they were made. I don't know for sure. We got this bomb button without any markings, and I have no clue because the image looks very different than the ones I can find online. Same goes for this small one, also without any markings, but they are really cool. I have an even smaller button. Look at that. It's a tiny anchor, but really cool. Got this button with a crown and an anchor, but I couldn't find anything about it. I've got this probably merchant button, which is very much newer. You can see it on the back side. And we have this piece. Also have no idea what it is, but oh, come on, it's a button. And we got this one, which looks like a German officer's button. It's pebbled and could be actually from the war, but I highly doubt it. It says FLL here in small circles, 21 millimeters, 2 stars, and some kind of dragon eagle thingy. But that's pretty cool. So now we're going to the generic part of the videos. The price, €5 for all this. That's perfect. I don't know if they are war or not, but the images are at least from the wars. And yeah, so for me it's worth it. If these were all genuine articles, then yeah, it would be a really good score. But I think it's a 5. It's a 5. It cost me €5 and I had a lot of fun about it, so that's why it has a higher value for me. But I think it's okay. Second is condition. Well, the condition is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. They're all flawless. So that's great. That's a definitely 8. Last one is a historic value. Well, yeah, there's maybe a few ones with a bit of usage on them, but not very much. And I think score's a little bit low for me. I think it's a 3 out of 10. Because yeah, they don't seem to be worn, seem to be from some kind of uniform which was never been used. So I hope you enjoyed this small little video about these beautiful buttons. I bought them in an impulse from a World War II dealer, and he said to me, oh, not everything is World War II, but just figure out. €5 is not much. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in the next.